What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Human League, and we're going back to the Dare album, 1981. Again, this is post-reformulation, though I'm trying to remember if it was Mark. Someone commented that the reason the first track on this album gave me a bit more of, vintage, or the first two album version of Human League, was because it was actually written before the full lineup change had taken place. So, in any case, the second track on Dare is called Open Your Heart. It's, it sounds like an entreaty, an appeal for someone to allow them in an emotional and intimate sense. Now, that could just be upon first encountering them. It could perhaps be because they're in pursuit, but the other person so far has not shown an interest, so it could be about them feeling like if only you would open your heart and give me a chance, you would see the connection that we could have. Now, again, sometimes those kind of songs are, it has a bit of that unreliable narrator feel to it, so I'm curious to hear what might be at play, knowing that, in the song that most famously for this version of Human League, was a major hit, Don't You Want Me, when you get two different sides of that story. So I do wonder, as we now go into a territory where they have a male and female singers, whether, that dialogue dynamic might take place on a few songs. So in any case, let's find out. This is Human League, the tune is Open Your Heart, and it's from the 1981 album Dare.
They
chiptune-y, intense, rolling melody. Like number one, I like the way that contrasts with the otherwise bright and like shiny sonics of most of the tune. But then it was interesting the way, like, you know, toward the beginning of the second half of the tune, he did that vocal run where it like doubled that. It like did an impression of that crazy like rolling melodic run. So yeah, really interesting tune. Eventually we did hear the female vocalist, but it was mainly Oki on that one. So ultimately, again, like at least for the first minute or two, it was giving me like, man, this is another tune where I feel like it could be on the earlier Human League. It did feel a bit brighter perhaps than some of their tracks on the first couple albums, but ultimately, again, with his voice alone, it feels like it's Human League that I already know. Nevertheless, yeah, I really enjoyed a couple of the configurations in there in particular. I enjoyed the sonics overall, but like there was like a kind of woodwind type of synth, and like when that came in at the beginning of a couple of the measures, I really enjoyed how that configuration sounded. Yeah, more complicated lyrics than I was thinking in terms of just, you know, the idea of like really pining for someone and really wanting someone to turn toward you. So I'm not sure exactly, you know, the full scope of the themes at play, but again, I did hear the title line and it felt essentially like, you know, what I was thinking, the idea of like opening your heart, meaning opening your emotions and, you know, letting them in. But I'm not sure the like wider context. So either way, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to the remainder of this album. I mentioned Han Solo. At my work, occasionally we listen to this 80s station, and there's one or two tunes from this album where I ended up hearing parts of them when I was at work, because, you know, it shows like the album cover or the single cover of whatever track that it's playing on the radio that we play. And a couple times I was like, oh, that's like the Dare album, and I'm like tried not to listen too closely because I knew I was eventually going to be getting to it, but there's a couple tracks that I heard like little bits and pieces of. I don't think that's one of them, because they didn't come back at all like, oh wait, maybe this sounds like, you know, recently familiar. But yeah, in the moment I'm forgetting what those are. But yeah, like I said, there's a couple on here where there may be a part where it's like, oh wait, this is one that I've heard in the background. But either way, looking forward to the remainder of the album. Surely there's going to be some more where the females are more prominent on the vocals, but it is fair to say I think Oki has a good voice. I was noticing that in particular when I listened to that track that he did with Giorgio Moroder, which in the moment I'm forgetting the name of. But he really does have a good voice. So yeah, bottom line, looking forward to the rest of the album. Shout out to Han Solo for sharing the Human League stuff going back to Reproduction and also Travelogue, and as well as the bonus tunes and the men and so on, as well as everybody else who's commented on the Human League reactions thus far. In any case, there'll be a Heaven 17 in this batch as well, because like I said, I'm going to do those in tandem. So let me know what you think of this, let me know what you think of that, and I will see you next time. Peace.